If you've ever wondered whether someone actually wants to sleep with you, or you're just projecting, this video is going to clear that up fast. I'm not giving you vague flirting advice or guesswork. I'm breaking down the exact phrases people use when the intention is physical, not hypothetical. I've heard these lines myself. I've said a few of them, and once you know them, you can't unhear them. Some are subtle, some are bold, and the most revealing ones show up later, once you're already emotionally engaged. So make sure you stay all the way through. Let's start with the earliest signs. 1. So, what are you doing after this? You'll hear this when the current plan is winding down and suddenly they're not ready for it to end. This isn't small talk, it's a temperature check. They're trying to see if your night is open-ended or closed. If you say you're going home and they immediately pivot, that tells you a lot. When someone wants to sleep with you, they care less about what you're doing next and more about where. Notice how the question comes with a pause or a smile or a tone shift. If you want clarity, answer honestly and don't over-explain. Their reaction will give you the real answer. 2. You don't have to rush home if you don't want to. This one sounds considerate, but it's strategic. You'll usually hear it when there's no actual reason for you to leave. No deadline, no obligation. They're removing your exit excuse. When someone wants you sexually, they create space. Emotional interest asks questions. Physical interest creates openings. If you notice this line comes up more than once, pay attention. That repetition matters. If you're unsure, say, "Why do you ask?" and see if they lean in or back off. That response tells you whether the intention is real or just flirtation. 3. I live pretty close, actually. No one says this accidentally. Location becomes relevant only when proximity matters. You didn't ask. You didn't need to know. But suddenly they're volunteering it. This is about logistics, not conversation. When someone wants to sleep with you, distance becomes a selling point. Notice when this comes up. Often late in the night, often casually slipped in. If you ignore it, they may repeat it later in a slightly different way. That's not coincidence. If you want to slow things down, change the subject. If you're open, let the moment breathe and see what they say next. Before we go on, comment "ready" if you're the kind of guy who watches to understand patterns, not just be entertained. 4. We could keep the night going. This is a soft invitation with flexible boundaries. It's intentionally vague so you can say yes without committing to anything specific. That vagueness is the point. When someone wants to sleep with you, they test momentum before making a direct move. This line gauges your energy. Do you light up? Do you hesitate? Do you deflect? If you immediately suggest another public activity and they lose interest, that tells you what they were hoping for. If you want clarity, ask, "What did you have in mind?" Their answer will remove all doubt. 5. I'm not really tired yet. This shows up when the night should logically be ending. The event is over, the drinks are done, but they're still lingering. This isn't about sleep, it's about opportunity. When someone wants you physically, they resist closure, they stretch time. If you notice they say this while watching your reaction closely, that's your cue. Miss this and you'll keep wondering why nights feel unfinished. If you're interested, match their pace. If not, end the night cleanly instead of hovering in ambiguity. This next one catches almost everyone off guard. 6. You'd like my place. It's very me. This is an emotional wrapper around a physical invitation. They're selling intimacy without saying it outright. When someone wants to sleep with you, they often frame their space as an extension of their personality. It makes the invite feel personal instead of sexual. Pay attention to timing. This usually comes after rapport is already established. If you go along without checking your own comfort, you may end up somewhere you didn't consciously choose. A simple, "maybe another time," is enough if you're unsure. Their reaction will show you whether they were hoping for more. 7. Do you want to come in for just a minute? Just a minute is never just a minute. This is a classic threshold test. They're asking if you're willing to cross a boundary, not how long you'll stay. When someone wants to sleep with you, they minimize the ask to reduce resistance. If you say yes, momentum takes over. If you hesitate, they'll often reassure you or downplay expectations. That reassurance is telling. If you want control here, decide before answering. Don't negotiate in the doorway. That's where people agree to things they didn't fully intend. 8. I hate when a good night ends early. This line carries emotional weight on purpose. It frames continuation as a shared desire rather than their personal want. When someone wants you sexually, they often use we language to create alignment. Notice how this makes you feel responsible for the night's outcome. If that pressure feels subtle but present, you're reading it correctly. If you're interested, you can say, "Then let's not end it yet." If you're not, say goodnight clearly. Dragging it out sends mixed signals that complicate things fast. 9. It's way too early for this to be over. This is a stronger version of the previous line, less playful, more intent. You'll hear it when attraction is high and patience is thinning. When someone says this, they're signaling urgency. Ignore this, and you may misread the entire interaction. If you want to test sincerity, suggest something low stakes and public. If they push back toward privacy, that tells you exactly what they want. Don't confuse intensity with connection. They're not the same thing. If any of that felt familiar, pay close attention to what comes next. 10. I feel like we're in no rush tonight. This sounds calm, but it's calculated. They're reframing time as abundant so decisions feel safer. When someone wants to sleep with you, they often slow the language while speeding up the intention. This line removes urgency while keeping the door open. If you agree too quickly, the night often escalates fast. If you pause, they'll either respect it or reveal impatience. That response matters. Watch it closely. It's one of the earliest signs of how they handle desire versus restraint. Those are the early signals, the ones that show up before anything is explicit. Now we're moving into what people say once there's already chemistry, comfort, and emotional momentum involved. This is where things get harder to misread and easier to ignore if you're not paying attention. 11. You can crash here if it's easier. This shows up when logistics suddenly become a concern, but only in one direction. They're not offering to help you get home. They're offering to remove the need to leave. When someone wants to sleep with you, convenience becomes intimacy. Notice when this comes up after a long night or a shared experience. It's framed as helpful, but it's also an invitation. If you say yes too casually, you may skip over your own decision-making. If you're unsure, say, "I'll see how I feel in a bit." Their reaction will tell you how attached the offer really was. 12. I don't usually do this, but this line is about lowering your guard. It positions you as an exception, which feels flattering and disarming. When someone wants to sleep with you, they often preface the moment with a rule they're about to break. That doesn't mean the rule exists. It means they want you to feel special enough to say yes. Pay attention to how quickly the but follows. If it's immediate, the hesitation is performative. If you want clarity, don't rush to reassure them. Let the silence sit and see what they choose next. 13. I feel really comfortable around you. Comfort is often used as a bridge between emotional safety and physical access. When someone says this, they're signaling closeness while testing whether you associate comfort with intimacy. This line usually appears in quiet moments. Less noise, fewer distractions. If you've known them briefly, the timing matters. Comfort doesn't automatically mean depth. If you assume it does, you may move faster than you intended. A grounded response like, "I like taking things slow," gives you control without shutting the moment down. 14. We're already having a good time. Why change that? This reframes escalation as preservation. They're suggesting that leaving or pausing would disrupt something positive. When someone wants to sleep with you, they often frame continuation as the safest choice. Notice how this shifts the burden onto you to justify stopping. That's subtle pressure. If you've ever agreed to something just to avoid awkwardness, this is where it happens. If you want to stay aligned with yourself, respond with what you want next, not what keeps the moment smooth. Here's where it starts getting harder to ignore. 15. I'm kind of glad it's just us right now. This line isolates the moment emotionally. It creates a bubble. When someone wants you sexually, they often highlight exclusivity, even temporarily. This isn't about commitment. It's about focus. You'll hear this when others leave or the environment quiets down. If you feel a shift in intensity right after, that's not accidental. If you want to check the pace, acknowledge the moment without escalating it. Something as simple as a smile and a pause can slow things down without breaking connection. 16. I was hoping you'd say yes. This usually comes after you agree to something small. Staying longer, coming inside, sitting closer. It reveals anticipation. When someone wants to sleep with you, they often plan ahead emotionally before acting physically. This line tells you the outcome mattered to them. If that feels flattering, great. If it feels heavy, notice that too. You're allowed to change direction even after saying yes once. Hope is not entitlement. Pay attention to how they respond if you adjust the pace afterward. 17. I don't want to say goodnight yet. This is about delaying separation. Physical desire resists endings. When someone says this, they're signaling attachment to the moment, not necessarily to you long-term. It's easy to confuse the two. If you've ever stayed longer than you meant to because this sounded sweet, you're not alone. If you want to test intention, suggest a clear pause, like setting a plan for another time. If they disappear after that, You just learned something important without over-investing. The fact you're here at this point means something's landing. Show your brain you heard it by hitting like. Then subscribe and tap the bell so you're here early every time we break down the next piece. 18. You're safe with me. This line carries weight. It's meant to reassure, but it also fast-tracks trust. When someone wants to sleep with you, they may emphasize safety to lower hesitation. Context matters here. If this comes before you've expressed concern, it can feel premature. Trust is built, not declared. If something in you tightens when you hear this, listen to that. You don't owe comfort in response. Real safety allows space for boundaries without persuasion. This next one might sting a little, but you need to hear it. 19. I've been thinking about this all night. This is a confession with intent. It frames desire as sustained and focused. When someone says this, they're signaling that the attraction didn't just appear, it's been building. That can feel intense and flattering, but intensity doesn't equal intention. If you mistake this for emotional depth, you may attach meaning that isn't there. If you want to ground the moment, acknowledge the attraction without committing to action. Desire can exist without immediately being acted on. 20. I was wondering when this moment would happen. This line assumes inevitability. It suggests the outcome was always headed here. When someone wants to sleep with you, they sometimes rewrite the interaction as a slow lead up to now. That can make saying no feel like disrupting a story already written, but you're allowed to change the narrative at any point. If this line feels pressuring, it's because it is. Pay attention to whether they check in with you after saying it, or just keep moving forward. If you've made it this far, you're already seeing the patterns most people miss. The last 10 go even deeper. These are the phrases that sound emotionally mature, casual, or respectful, but often signal pure physical intent underneath. 21. This feels like one of those nights. This line wraps desire in destiny. It suggests spontaneity, chemistry, and a moment you're supposed to lean into. When someone wants to sleep with you, they sometimes frame the night as rare or special to bypass hesitation. Notice how this removes specifics and replaces them with feeling. If you go along without checking yourself, you may act on mood rather than intention. If you want clarity, respond with something grounded like, "What do you mean?" The way they explain it will tell you whether this is about connection or convenience. 22. I don't want to overthink this. This sounds relaxed, but it's directional. It discourages reflection right when reflection would slow things down. When someone wants you physically, they often frame thinking as the problem. If you've ever felt rushed after hearing this, that's not in your head. Overthinking isn't the same as checking in with yourself. If you need a beat, take it. Someone aligned with you won't push past your pause. Someone focused only on the outcome will. 23. We don't have to label anything. This line lowers expectations before anything even happens. It creates permission without responsibility. When someone wants to sleep with you, they sometimes preempt emotional conversations by removing future framing. Notice how this appears before intimacy, not after. If you accept this without realizing it, you may later wonder why nothing progressed. If you're okay with that, fine. If not, say so early. Clarity now prevents confusion later, especially when desire is driving the moment. 24. I just want to enjoy this right now. This frames presence as virtue. It sounds mindful, mature, even healthy, but it also removes accountability. When someone says this, they're asking you to stay in the moment without asking where it's going. If you've ever felt emotionally flat afterward, this is often why. Enjoyment isn't the issue. Unspoken expectations are. If you want to stay aligned, acknowledge the moment while staying honest about your pace. You don't have to reject the present to protect your future. Okay, this one changes everything if you actually catch it. 25. Let's not make it complicated. This line defines complexity as the enemy. Boundaries, questions, and pacing get lumped into drama. When someone wants to sleep with you, they may simplify the situation to reduce resistance. If you've ever agreed just to avoid being seen as difficult, this is where it happened. Complicated usually means slower than I want. If something feels off, it's not because you're overcomplicating, it's because you're noticing. Trust that instinct. 26. I feel a really strong pull toward you. This is emotional language used to justify physical urgency. It sounds deep, almost spiritual, but it doesn't come with responsibility or follow-through. When someone says this, they're naming attraction without naming intention. If you confuse the two, you may invest more than they plan to. If you want to stay grounded, respond with curiosity rather than escalation. Ask how they experience that pull. Their answer will show you whether it goes beyond the moment. 27. I've been holding back all evening. This reveals restraint, but also signals release. When someone wants to sleep with you, they may frame themselves as controlled until now, making the next move feel earned. This line often appears right before escalation. If you feel pressure to match their intensity, pause. You're not responsible for managing someone else's desire. If holding back was hard, that's their experience, not a debt you owe. Pay attention to whether they respect your response here. These last few are the ones I wish someone had told me earlier. 28. I don't usually act on impulse, but this positions the moment as exceptional while still avoiding responsibility. It's a way to act quickly without being seen as careless. When someone says this, they're asking you to co-sign the exception. If you do, the moment accelerates. If you don't, the reaction matters. Someone aligned will slow down. Someone outcome-focused will push. That difference is subtle but crucial, and most people don't notice it until later. 29. I don't want to pretend I don't feel this. This line frames action as honesty. It implies that not acting would be denial or dishonesty. When someone wants to sleep with you, they may equate desire with obligation. Feeling something doesn't mean you have to act on it. If you've ever overridden your own pacing because this sounded sincere, you're not alone. Real honesty includes respecting timing. Watch whether they honor yours once this is said. 30. Tell me if you want this too. This is the most important one. It sounds respectful, and sometimes it is, but context matters. If this comes after pressure, momentum, or repeated cues, it can still be loaded. When someone truly wants mutual desire, this question is open-ended. When they want a yes, it's a formality. Listen to how it's asked. Recognizing these phrases doesn't mean you're supposed to act on all of them. It means you're finally seeing when desire is present, without guessing, projecting, or reading into things that aren't there. Because physical interest doesn't usually announce itself loudly. It shows up quietly, through timing, language, and pressure, that feels subtle until you know what to listen for. And once you can hear that clearly, the next question almost always follows. Why me? Why is someone drawn in, sometimes intensely, even when nothing obvious has changed? That's where perception comes in. Because attraction isn't just about intention, it's about how you're being seen. The next video breaks down 30 signs women think you're good looking, and most of them aren't what you expect at all.